Hi guys, today we are going to work on a geometry calculator. Here we have our menu. I have used the variable choice to store user's input. First let's perform a validation on user's input to make sure that the number entered by the user lies within the range. It must be within the range of 1 to 6. If it is not in the specified range, then an error message will appear which will ask the user to enter the number again until he enters a correct number. Let's test it. It's working. Now let's move on to the main part of our program. If the user enters 1, we need to calculate the area of a circle for him. We will ask the user to enter radius of the circle. I am performing validation on the value of the radius as well to make sure that the user does not enter a negative value. Once we are done with the validation, we will print the area of the circle. We can use the math class to help us calculate it. Let's test it. It's working perfectly fine. Now moving on to the second option where we have to find the area of a rectangle. We can use the same piece of code here as well with just a few changings in it. Since it is a rectangle, this time we need to ask the user for the length and width of the rectangle. We will perform the same validation on the length and width as well to make sure that they are not negative integers. To find the area of a rectangle, we will simply multiply the length and width. Time to test our code. Perfect. Now moving on to the third option, where we have to calculate area of a triangle. Again we will use the same piece of code with the same validations. This time we will ask the user to enter base and height of the triangle. To calculate area of the triangle we will simply divide the product of base and height with 2. Let's check if it runs or not. Great. Now comes option number 4, where we need to calculate power of a number. I am using the same code again. This time I am asking the user to enter a number and its power. I am going to use the math class to calculate it. Let's test it. It's working. Coming to the fifth option, we need to find the square root of the number here. This means that we want the user to enter a number here on which we will perform our calculations. Again the math class is going to help us. Let's test this as well. Superb. Finally, a last option which is supposed to end the program. Let's check this as well. And here we are, done with our code. Subscribe for more.